Hey everybody, it is NTI day 15. Before I even start my instruction, I'm going to say, if you are not in the orange, green, or blue math group, then you're not in the right video. Okay, so only my friends who are in the orange math group, the green math group, and the blue math group need to be watching this video because everything that they need to do for the day is going to be in this video, and you're going to get confused if you're watching multiple videos. Okay, so I have all my friends that are orange, green, or blue. Awesome. Let's get started. We're going to be talking about taking fractions to whole numbers. We did this yesterday, but I realized there were a couple of misconceptions and that we could use a little bit more practice with this. Let's start with the misconception that I saw. First off, a lot of you guys were watching my videos, and I know this because you commented on there because the video asked you to comment and keep it a secret. So all those friends that commented, awesome job. I'm going to give you a shout out on Google Classroom here soon, but I really appreciate you watching my videos and taking the time to really care about your education while you're at home on these NTI days. So let's look at the misconception that I saw on the comments and on the quizzes. Okay, I saw a lot of, you put the whole number. So let's use the whole number of 2. And you said 2 is the same thing as 1/2. Okay. 2, or you said 2 over 1 is the same thing as 1/2. Now, let's draw these out and figure out why this is a misconception. And remember, misconceptions are just things that we think are true, but they're actually not. So if I have 2 over 1, I'm going to erase this so I can draw it in. Okay, our denominator always tells us how many parts that it is broken into. Okay, that's what the denominator tells us. This tells us that it's not broken into anything, it's one whole. Okay, so if I had a pizza, it's 1 part. If I had a pie, it's 1 part. And it says that I ate 2 of those parts. So if I were to draw this in, I wouldn't break it apart in any kind of way. I wouldn't slice it up because the denominator tells me that it doesn't get sliced, that it's 1 part. Then I go ahead and color this in because it says I have 2 of 1 part. Therefore, 2 over 1 is the same thing as 2 wholes. But now let's look at this other fraction, 1/2. Well, my denominator tells me it's broken into 2 parts, so I'm going to go ahead and draw that. Split it right down the middle. And then I only get 1 of those parts. I'm going to color that in. Now, let's look at this. Is this the same thing as this? No, not even close. I'd be sad if I was the one who got this much pie or pizza rather than this person getting this much pie or pizza. So just because they have the same numbers does not mean that they are equivalent. Let's look at another example. 5 over 1 is the same thing as 1/5. Well, 5 over 1 is going to get us the number 5. Remember, a whole number is a number that doesn't have a fraction. Okay, it does not use a fraction. It's without a fraction. A whole number are numbers that we work with every single day. So this is not broken into any parts, and I get 5 pieces of it. So essentially, I get 5 whole pizzas, or I get 5 whole pies. 1/5, it's broken into 5 parts. I'm going to do my best I can to draw this in. 2, 3, 4, 5, and I only get 1 piece. Are these the same thing? No. This isn't even close to how much this person got. So we know just because they use the same numbers and we flip-flop the numerator and denominator around does not mean that they are equivalent. Okay? 5 over 1 equals the whole number 5. It's the same exact thing, and that's what we're going to be looking at today. What fractions actually equal whole numbers, numbers that we've looked at since kindergarten? Well, let's try it out. Move me back over here. Okay, so we're going to start with the whole number of 2. Okay? Remember, whole numbers are numbers without a fraction. And we have to make fractions or come up with fractions that are equivalent to the whole number of 2. Well, we have the simple one, 2 over 1 that we just looked at. It's broken into one part. That means it's one whole. And I get 2 pieces. There's my 2 wholes. We could also do 4 over 2 or 4 halves. I know this because when we have a fraction bar, that means that line that goes between your numerator and your denominator. We have a fraction bar. It's the same thing as a division sign. So you essentially have 4 divided by 2. And I know that that gets me the whole number of 2. I'm going to draw it out just to show you. Well, I'm breaking this into halves, 2 parts, because that's what my denominator tells me to do. And it says I get 4 pieces, 4 slices. Now I have 2 wholes. One more example of a whole number, of a fraction that's equivalent to the whole number of 2. What about 8/4? Okay, I'm going to slice this into fourths, and I get 8 pieces. Let me move this so you can see better. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Look, I still have 2 wholes, and I know that my numerator divided by my denominator gets me my whole number. I know that 8 divided by 4 gets me 2. So just think about your fraction bar as a division sign. So think fraction bar, division. Okay? Let's do another example. Let's look at a different whole number. Let's look at something a little bit more challenging. Whoop. All right, what about 3? So if you're following along with this video, you're probably thinking of some examples of fractions that equal the whole number of 3. Let me see if I can think of what you're thinking of. You got it? Okay. Did you think of 3 over 1? I hope so, because that one's a given. Okay, all you got to do, equal a whole number, you got to put that number as the numerator and keep your denominator 1. Okay, 3 over 1 is the same thing as 3 wholes. What about 6 halves? I know this because if I draw it out, I divide it into halves. I color in 6 pieces or 6 parts. It gets me 3 wholes. Another example could be 9/3. I know this because 9 divided by 3 gets me 3. All right, last example of taking a whole number to a fraction. And then after this, we're going to play a game. So make sure that you're engaging your brain. All right, whole number is 5. I don't know why that didn't erase on my screen. It's erased on my iPad. Okay, that's good enough. All right, whole number is 5, and we have to come up with fractions that equal the whole number 5. Well, I really, really hope that you said in your mind or out loud to the computer, 5 over 1. If you did, you're doing awesome. That's essential. 5 over 1 is the same thing as 5 wholes. You could also do 10 over 2 or 10 halves. You could get really crazy with it and do 5/10. Or you could do 25/5. All of these equal the whole number of 5. So are you ready to play our game? Okay. I'm going to write a fraction, and you're going to point to which whole number it would be. Okay, and then I'm going to tell you the right answer. Okay, so my fraction to start off with, we're going to start with something easy. 6 over 1. You've got 3 seconds. You should be pointing to 2, 4, or 6. If you pointed to 6, you are correct. They're going to get harder, I promise. All right, what about 8 halves? If I had the fraction 8 halves, what would that be equal to? Would it be equal to the whole number of 2, 4, or 6? If you said 4, you're correct. Because I know that 8 divided by 2 gets me 4. Let's do another example. 16 eighths. 16 eighths. Which whole number is that equivalent to? If you pointed to 2, you're correct, because 16 divided by 8 gets you 2. And 8 times 2 is 16. We'll do 2 more examples. 36 sixths. 36 sixths. Which whole number is that equivalent to? If you pointed to 6, you're correct. Last example. If you're getting all these right, you're going to do fantastic on the quiz. 16 fourths. 16 fourths. Which whole number is that equivalent to? 2, 4, or 6? If you said 4, you're correct. All right, guys, what I want you to do today is, number 1, you should get a green light on reflex. Number 2, you should be watching this video, especially if you are orange, blue, or green. Then you're going to take the quiz that says orange, blue, or green. Okay? And once you finish that quiz and you've done all 3 things on the list, you are done with math for the day. Hope you guys have a great day. I will see you tomorrow.